now it's time for today's guest. Myka Meier is an etiquette expert and consultant, having opened her own business, Beaumont Etiquette. Today, Myka's here to talk about her partnership with Venmo and to teach us the correct etiquette to use on the mobile payment service. Everyone, please give a warm Bill Brunch welcome to Myka Meier.
If you would like some
we can some alcohol if you want some.
I would love to.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's very strong.
Oh, what is it?
It's an old-fashioned in a can.
It's so good.
So it's
Well,
whiskey in a
that's
can.
clever.
Yeah, isn't it?
Have fun.
Okay.
You
Take
have
a
to pull
beat.
that little tab
Oh,
off. It's a
Yeah,
whole
it's a little
Our
confusing.
friend Pam Whitsinter came in and gave us some tips.
Yeah.
Oh my
Fourth
goodness.
of July.
And then straight from the can.
Yeah, just do it.
Yeah.
We'll do a little cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome to the
Cheers.
table.
Thank you so much. Thank you
cheers.
for having me.
Thanks
Cheers.
for joining us.
Cheers. All right.
Oh yeah. You drink one of these, you're lit up.
Yeah.
Oh, it burns.
Yeah.
After one of these,
good.
you'll go on Venmo and you'll just start
It's good,
requesting
yes.
cash from everyone.
I exist, baby.
Yes.
So speaking about Venmo, tell us about your new partnership with Venmo, as well as how you got involved in Venmo etiquette.
Sure. So, I mean, I think it's all about, there's so many conversations that happen around what do you do? What is the correct, way to communicate with other Venmo users? And these conversations kept coming up, and so then they kind of they decided to ask the Venmo community, what do you actually think about these things? Let's hear it from them. And so then I worked with Venmo to kind of take those results, and to be perfectly honest, I agreed with every single thing that came out in the survey.
Wow.
They were spot on.
Yeah.
It was really, I mean, they really, it's not surprising. I think you'll agree, but even dating etiquette, dining, what do you do if somebody owes you money? Can you remind them? How often can you remind them?
Yeah.
That's the thing, it gets really
Venmo,
dicey.
you
Yes.
remind them once, right?
So yes, I always say, first time, a couple days, definitely, everybody expects it. We're all busy, it's okay to remind. Definitely use the remind function, that's why it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And why do you think having a list of Venmo etiquette tips is important for users?
I think because people just have questions. They're just not sure. So I think now that there's a collective group of people who use the app who said, here's what we think. Now people feel like a little bit safer knowing that, okay, this is maybe what everyone else thinks. So then I must be in the realm of, doing the right thing when I'm using the app. Yeah.
Right. And how did you get started in being an etiquette expert?
Do you know, it actually came out of insecurity. I'm from Florida originally, and then I moved to London. And then suddenly, I was the only American working with 120 other British and European people,
Right.
and I was like, wait, there's an actual way you hold your silverware?
Right.
And there's an actual way you hold a glass? And so I went to my first etiquette class, and then word kind of spread, and the expat community was like, Myka, we heard you're doing these little classes. Can we get in on this?
That's really
And then I
that.
started teaching it in London, and then we moved the company to New York.
Wow.
Well, I watched The Crown, so I know how classy the British people
He
are.
was almost the Pope.
Yeah, it's a long
Almost.
story. A long
Amazing.
story. But you trained in London, and you actually are a former member of the royal household of Her Majesty the Queen, right?
Well, my trainer
Your trainer was under
worked
that
in
person.
Buckingham Palace. Exactly. So very, very formal. But hopefully you see, even though my education is formal, I teach in a very informal way because it just doesn't work here otherwise, right? And it's about making it relatable and modern again, and otherwise people just won't use it.
Yeah.
Right.
No?
So tell us about Beaumont etiquette, and you just said that you're bringing a fresh and kind of modern perspective, which I think is really important because people like us, we're just like etiquette, boo! We don't want we're
Animals.
Exactly.
We're animals. People are barbarians. So how do you,
Yeah.
to the millennial Gen Z, how do you make etiquette? Cool.
Yeah. I think, you know what, all it is, I say, think about everything you ever thought about etiquette and then erase it, and then just remember this one thing. So etiquette is just about kindness and respect for everyone around.
Oh my God.
That's it.
That's beautiful.
I love that.
That's it.
If everyone thought that way, the world would just be
Right?
healed. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So I feel like if it doesn't feel right, don't do it. If, it's
Right.
just, we learn how to, dress and present ourselves and posture, whatever it is, but it's because you want to make the other people around you feel important and good. good.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah, that's a really sweet way
So,
of
like,
thinking about it.
and that's how I teach it. I wear white year round. You know, all these rules that people say. I'm like, I throw them out the door. It's just about respect and do what makes you feel good and what helps other people feel good.
I love
That's
that.
So you're saying I can wear white pants in the winter?
100%.
Okay, thank you
It's
so
winter white, fall white, spring white, whatever you want to call it. Yes. New rules.
I also love mixing black and navy blue.
Oh, I do that all the time.
I do it all the time.
I do
no
that
rules.
too, actually.
There's
modern.
no rules in fashion.
It looks great. Whatever you feel good in.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a big faux
That's a
pas.
thing.
I've done that recently, and I was like, okay, works, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't totally get that one.
If you feel good in it.
It's got to be the right shade.
Okay.
Yeah.
So back to Venmo etiquette,
Yes.
though. Let's get into it a little bit. There is something called the 48-hour cycle. Like, what is that whole thing?
Okay, so really what that's about is if you owe someone money,
Yeah.
then we say kind of, well, the Venmo community actually were the ones that said this, and I do agree, that within 24 hours of when that person asks, you should really pay them back if you can.
Yeah.
Now, if you can't, if there's any circumstance why you can't, then you just let that person know. It's just about, it's opening the line of communication so people know.
Right.
So then they're not like, where's my money? Right?
Right.
It's just about being fluid in that way. So that's kind of the cycle. And then also just think about when you're at a restaurant and someone often takes the bill, right? Some restaurants don't want 10 cards and one person takes the bill. We always kind of, I kind of agree that in that moment, right then and there, if it's an informal restaurant, just take out your phone and just Venmo right there, right?
Yeah,
And if
I
it's a
love that.
formal restaurant and it's kind of a no phone environment, then as soon as you leave, then in the car, on the way home, whatever it is, exactly.
Venmo makes it so easy.
Yeah.
So easy.
But if you forget that 48 hours is sort of where that other person should then nudge you, that's kind of the window for you reminding people to pay you?
You know, I think what the community said was kind of within 4 days,
Okay.
send that reminder, because people kind of need a few days, maybe they're busy, they forget, and then after that, I think that's the safety zone.
But what should you do? Because I've had someone ignore. And I didn't press because I was like, this wasn't a close friend. This person got mad at me because I didn't go home with them at the end of the night and they owed me money and ignored it.
Oh no.
So I didn't know what to do because I didn't know this person very well. Should I have reminded them like you owe me this money?
And this was a date?
No.
No,
this
this
was
was
one
a
of
friend.
us?
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
No,
I
at
owe
this
you money.
table.
I was like, please tell me if I owe you money.
Not someone I've seen since. I haven't seen them since.
You know,
Is it a
and
lot of money?
I think you can remind, and then if you know you're using that app function and it's still not working,
Yeah.
I think
Call the police.
a text,
Yeah.
a text, and if that doesn't work, you know,
That's okay.
Then maybe that person's not in your friend circle anymore, right? It's time to trim the fat on that friendship.
Right.
You're like, "Oop, yeah.
And tell us about the no surprises rule.
Oh, okay. So essentially, if you think about this week, everyone's going to 4th of July. I'm doing a share, like a house share, right? We're traveling, bachelorette party, bachelor party. Then there should be no surprises so that you don't get like a sudden pop-up asking you for money that you didn't know you owed.
Oh my
So
God, I
it's like
hate that.
agreeing on something
Right.
ahead of time. So if we're all sharing a house, let's discuss the budget ahead of time so there's no surprises. So I don't get a Venmo amount that I was like shocked to get or that I didn't even expect.
Right.
I went to a party one time, and the day after I got a text being like, hey, we bought some beer last night if you guys want to just throw us a Venmo. I was like, no.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you invited
How
us.
do
You
you-
didn't
The
ask
word
us to bring
if
anything.
allows me to check the F out.
Yeah, or just
I'm out. See you later.
yeah, set it beforehand. No surprises.
No surprises.
I
I
agree.
like
So that's kind of the safety kind of net there that I completely agree with.
Yeah.
But
I have a really funny situation where my friend, I'm just gonna put him on blast, Dom Manzolillo, he was on a date with this woman and it was very clear, it was their first date, it was very clear it was like going downhill fast.
Ooh.
There was no connection.
Right.
But she took this as an opportunity to just order more and more drinks and more food. She ordered like lobster and all this stuff. And he was kind of sweating over here being like, oh no, like what's gonna happen?
Oh,
and
that's
at the end of the night,
awful.
he made a joke about splitting it and she kind of stayed quiet. So he paid the check. But then, like, afterwards, he was really upset about, like, the way she was, like, treating him. So he Venmo requested half of the bill.
Sure.
And she was really pissed. And I get it, but she, like, spread his number all over the, like, internet. And so she had, like, people texting him being like, don't mention Amanda ever again, you trash hole. So what do you think about that? Hey, where does that fall in the Venmo etiquette?
I think, you know, that was not a respectful thing for her to do.
Right.
You know, but I think I always say how to address bad etiquette is not to, it's like bad etiquette to address bad etiquette too. So on both
God,
sides.
double
Two
whammy.
wrongs.
Right?
Yeah.
But that's no surprises, right? So he surprised
But
her.
he
That's not-
surprised her.
Yeah, no surprises.
He surprised her.
Do you think
So,
Venmo is making it easier for people to talk about money? 'Cause I feel like with money,
gosh.
it's hard. I never get nervous about it. I'm very willing, like, this is how much it costs,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
People get very, like, I don't want to talk about
This
it.
is like, I'm very rich.
No.
Well, no, it's
And the
true.
Hamptons, we don't even
talked
care.
about
We just throw
money.
our money out.
Yeah.
What's money?
It's what's money, but I feel like Venmo is kind of helping. Like, it's just like, oh, here's the price, we'll split it. Like, are you seeing now with etiquette and way people are talking?
100%. Venmo makes it easier for people to discuss money.
Right.
Definitely. There's always been this stigma about talking about money or asking for money or sending or receiving or whatever it is. Now it's just normal,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I
It's
have to say that as a comedian, Venmo really improved and changed my life because we would always have to, like, in a sketch group or an improv group, hire spaces and coaches.
Right.
And it would be like one person was in charge of all of that. And then it was so much easier when Venmo came through because you didn't have to be like, oh, I don't have cash. You'd
Yeah.
be like, bitch, I got the app.
Yeah.
Like, send me my money. You're not here as a freeloader. We're all paying the equal. So it's so great. But as a person who is a comedian and all my friends are comedian, in the description, a lot of people will not put what it's for, and they'll be like, LOL,
Right.
nipple squeezing. So what do you think about the use of emojis or jokes in the description?
Well, yes, use caution there because actually 2 to 3 times, kind of a large percentage of people check the social feed
Right.
of the Venmo app. So, and sometimes not even just because they're paying or receiving, they're just, what's going on? What's she up to? So be very conscious
I
of that.
set it to private.
Exactly. You can always set your the
When I'm
functionality
paying
to
for
private.
blowjobs.
Yeah, but a lot of people like just keep it on public. It's automatically on public. And I actually found out that the boy that I babysit, he's been seeing other babysitters, and I was crushed. I was crushed because I thought me and this kid were so close, and I went to see his mother, and I saw like it was like, oh, fun time with blank his name. I'm not gonna shout him out. I love him, but I was like crushed, and I was like, she's been hiring other babysitters, and I'm free.
Oh no.
I'm available.
I'm free.
There you go.
One last question before we have a fun game. So my mom, and I know a lot of people a little older than us at the couch, actually are like a little nervous to download Venmo because it links to their bank account, and they're like, I don't want to lose money. And I've actually heard some instances of people being like, my Venmo got hacked and I lost money. I don't know the true story, but what do you say about people worried about the security of an app like Venmo, where you're connected to your bank account?
I think it's very safe. There's, the Venmo team is super on it. They do everything in their power to protect all of the users. So I think that's, if anything ever happens, you just make sure that you alert your bank. I think it's it is of course something that you could be concerned about, but then the Venmo community and the Venmo team is on it.
They have
I
our
also
back.
remind
They have your
people
back.
that on your phone, you should set it that when you open the app, you have to do security.
Yes.
So either punching in a code or using your fingerprint. So that way, if your phone gets stolen, people can't.
That's happened to my
is
friend.
super
His
important.
Venmo was open. Venmo, the app is so safe. If
Yeah,
you
it's
leave
so
it
safe.
open,
But you have to use
unlocked,
the
your
security
phone gets
function.
stolen,
Yeah.
that's the problem, not the app. It's
Right.
more if someone gets on your phone.
That's exactly right. It's
Yeah.
not the app. It's making sure that your phone is secure.
Yeah.
I even have like an authenticator on mine. Do you know that
Yeah.
part? The Google Authenticator or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So people have to go through 2 modes to get.
By that time, it was chuck the phone.
Right?
Yeah,
That's what they're
it's
done.
not
We're
worth
like,
it.
who is
Well,
this?
since you're the etiquette expert, and before you leave, we wanted to play a game with you.
Okay.
So we know you have some statistics, I believe, on hand that
do.
you're going to quiz us on.
I do.
And we're going to try and sort of give our answer. Lucas doesn't have a whiteboard. There might be one behind you.
Oh,
no,
me? No.
Look under the table.
Oh, it's behind your pillow.
Got it, got it, got it, got
He
it.
did not
Okay.
listen to the instructions.
you did not listen today. Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you questions and let me know, show everybody what you think the answer will be. Okay, first question. What % of Venmo users say it's more stressful to owe someone money than to be owed?
More stressful to owe
More
someone.
stressful to owe than to be owed. Okay, 60%, 47%, 75%, 30%. The answer is 65%.
Yeah.
Very
Oh.
close. 65%
Okay, but I was
of
kind of in
users
that range.
say it's
Are you
more stressful.
serious?
Yes. Okay, question number
Keeping
2.
score.
After a group meal, what % of users think it's appropriate to pay the person who covered the check immediately instead of waiting until later?
God, I mean, I hope it's 100. Probably 5 people.
Okay, we've got 90, 85, 80. in 80. So it's 42%.
Oh, monsters!
Trash ass people. Actually, Venmo should be exclusive to people who say 90%.
Yeah.
42%.
Come on.
Yeah, okay.
This is why we don't deserve nice things.
Okay, I've got one more, which I think is
Okay.
probably going to be the most interesting for us today. So question 3, what % of users surveyed don't think it's appropriate to Venmo request someone for a bill after you've asked them out on a date?
Oh, wait, say that again?
So your friend, exactly what happened to
Exactly
your
what happened
friend.
to your friend.
What % of users surveyed don't think it's appropriate to Venmo request someone for the bill after you've asked them out on a date?
Ooh, God, this is hard.
This is hard.
I bet
you
you,
know
it's
what?
not
I'm
what you
gonna-
think.
Yeah.
I'm gonna,
Sorry, Dom.
I'm gonna go.
Okay,
I'm
55%,
gonna
100%,
I'm gonna be low.
Okay, 35%. It is, the answer is 66%.
Okay.
Okay.
66%.
Okay.
Yes.
66% think you shouldn't do that.
Right.
Should,
No,
yeah.
66% of users
That's-
surveyed don't think it's appropriate to Venmo request
Don't.
someone.
Yeah,
The majority.
they're right.
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I agree with
Not
them.
appropriate.
No surprises.
Right. No surprises. The theme.
This
We
is
learned so much
incredible.
Well, thank you for having
Shannon.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God, a penis and a butt, we go together. Sorry, it's Pride Month, people.
Guys, she's an etiquette lady.
Happy
Yeah.
Pride. Happy Pride. No.
Happy Pride. Thank you so
An
much.
etiquette expert. She's not just an etiquette lady.
Yeah.
Remember, all about Pride too. It's all about respecting other people and
Yes.
There
everybody.
you go.
So this is like
Right.
such a celebratory month,
You're the
especially
best.
for etiquette.
And I will
Right?
definitely be
I hope you feel
Venmoing people.
respected.
I did. I
We
love
didn't
y'all.
need to disrespect. We're just
Yeah.
chill.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we're just.
I'm nervous
Yeah.
now.
Please
I
don't be.
really like
Yes.
you. I hope you come back.
Yeah,
I
we
think
love
you all
you.
are
Yeah.
so fun. Thank you so much for having
Myka,
me.
thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.